So there's a chance you'll see it if you leave your house early this morning. One of the city's newest pedestrian bridges that's supposed to be lit up is often dark. Now Albuquerque is getting ready to redo that major bridge lighting project. The city's public art department did the project near I-25 in Osuna in early 2013. Blue lights bathe the Bear Canyon Arroyo pedestrian bridge, but out of the nearly 400 light boxes, at least 70 were broken. The city says it's because the boxes were not waterproof like promised. On special assignment last night at 10, News 13's Chris McKee got answers about the project's next step.
But we, like everybody else, want to make sure that this bridge is beautiful and that we will reinvest the amount of funds that we have to put into it into achieving that.
So Public Art says it's now planning to spend about $210,000 to replace the bridge deck lights. There's much more on this story on our KRQE News app, including an up-close look at the lights and comments from the artist about this project.
This morning, police are now looking for more possible rape victims of a man who once lived here in New Mexico. That suspect was caught more than 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, 36-year-old Waylon Lowry is from Socorro. He was arrested in Minnesota. A warrant for his arrest was issued in August when a woman reported Lowry had raped her. During that time, 3 others came forward saying Lowry had raped them.
And police do believe that Lowry has more victims, and the attacks could have happened anywhere from 1998 through last month. If you or someone you know is a victim, you're asked to call police.
We turn out to this developing story this morning. More than 100 high-tech jobs are making their way to the state. The governor made the announcement Monday at the International Balloon Museum. Rule Sourcing, based out of Atlanta, is opening a software development center in Albuquerque. The company's CEO says he picked Albuquerque because of the talented workforce coming from UNM and from CNM.
And it was very obvious from the get-go as well that you wanted us here. And I have to say that's a big deal. We go to cities, they don't always have their stuff together, I'll say. You guys did.
Here's some more good news. The company will hire 125 computer programmers and even some interns. Rule Sourcing is supposed to start operations come January.
4 minutes past 6 with just days to the start of the balloon fiesta. Now local businesses are ramping up for what's expected to be a busy time of the year. From hotels to restaurants and shops, the event is big business for Albuquerque. According to an economic study from 2011, the fiesta draws hundreds of thousands of visitors, many of them from out of state. Experts say those people are staying here and spending almost $200 per day while exploring Albuquerque and other parts of New Mexico.
It packs hotels, restaurants, and the impact really is beyond Albuquerque. We hear from many of our state partners what a great impact it has on the entire state.
Some vendors in Old Town also say they will do more business during the fiesta than they do in 3 months. How about that? Looking forward to it coming up. 6:05 now happening now. Officials in China are dealing with Typhoon after it struck mainland China earlier today.
Yeah, this comes after the storm hit Taiwan, where it killed 2 people and injured hundreds others. China's state-run media showed footage of strong waves as well as soldiers holding onto fishing boats with ropes. Ahead of the typhoon's arrival, thousands of fishing boats returned to shore and ports had to be closed. In Taiwan, you can see the destruction left behind before it made its way to China.
New this morning, MTV Extreme sports star Eric Rohner is dead after a skydiving accident on Monday. It happened in California. Police say the 39-year-old was skydiving for the opening ceremony of a gold event when he hit a tree, killing him instantly. That was a golf event that he was participating in when he died. Witnesses tell authorities that Rohner was trying to land and became entangled high above the ground.
New this morning, the daughter of late actor Paul Walker has filed a lawsuit against Porsche related to her father's death. Walker died in 2013 when the Porsche Carrera GT he was riding in crashed, then burst into flames. According to the LA Times, 16-year-old Meadow Walker accuses Porsche of taking shortcuts in building that car. The suit alleges the automaker failed to install a control system and installed seatbelts in a way that they trapped Walker inside. Investigators who consulted Porsche technicians found that unsafe speed caused that deadly crash, not mechanical problems.
We could learn more about a group of thieves who tried to hold up a man before crashing into another car later down the road. It happened on Mainland near I-25 yesterday afternoon. A man says he was stopped at a stop sign when he was blocked in, and thieves came after his passenger's purse.
This white car got behind us and another one in front of us, and they came running to the car, and she was trying to hit her with a club, and then she grabbed her purse and took off.
Lucero says the two cars that blocked him in sped off. He says he tried to follow them, but police say the suspects ended up crashing into another car on Manal. 3 people were taken to the hospital. Police have not released any details.
We did some checking this morning and found the man police say tried to take off with someone's Jaguar outside a fast food joint remains locked up. It happened at the Sonic at Central and Coors. APD says 20-year-old Alex Sanchez jumped into the car when the driver stopped to say hello to some friends. Sanchez ended up crashing in the expensive car at a home nearby. He was arrested. Listen to this. Florida residents awoke to a nuisance in the neighborhood that they're really not used to seeing. A monkey was spotted in Sanford. So here's the deal, that he was eating people's mail. Yeah, police arrived at the scene and the monkey got on top of a cruiser and started pulling molding off the car. Officials say the monkey, known as Zeke, did not harm anybody, and its owner came to reclaim him by luring him with a bottle of water. It's just out having a little fun, right? And needed a little drink after eating the mail. He's probably pretty thirsty. Yeah, I bet. On to new video this morning that shows 2 people trying to set a house on fire. Yeah, it happened while a family and a family friend were tucked in bed. Surveillance cameras captured it all. Watch here as the 2 men douse the driveway with some kind of flammable liquid, then continue up to the garage, around to the back of the house. Then they light it on fire. The commotion woke the neighbor's dog. Investigators say the neighbors then grabbed a hose and put out the fire. The homeowner believes the man responsible is the husband of a woman who was staying there and going through a divorce. Terrifying. Yeah, for sure. Several students in Dallas are suspended today after two drill teams, I should say, went head-to-head on the football field. What started off as a dance-off quickly escalated after one of the dancers hit another dancer in the back of the head. It happened right there. Soon the field erupted in an all-out fight between both teams. Nobody was seriously injured. No arrests were made, but as punishment, none of the girls involved will be allowed to participate in upcoming football games. And you could see from the video that some parents actually left the stands to rush down there and hopefully try to break it up. I hope they weren't getting involved in the scuffle. Good thing it didn't get any more serious. Meantime, parents are planning more protests against CYFD. It's all over how they handled an abuse allegation at a metro area daycare. Yeah, that daycare is actually closed today after a worker was caught on camera mishandling an infant. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is in southeast Albuquerque near Gibson and San Mateo with the very latest. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Parents of children at Eastern Child Development Center are planning a protest here this evening. They say they're upset over the way CYFD is handling this situation by closing down the daycare because they say that the daycare's done everything right. Yesterday, they sent a strong message to the department.
Now there's 289 kids that are without childcare and 33 workers that are without a job.
Parent Diana Mays says the preschool closed Friday after the state pulled its license. That's while it investigates an allegation that a worker abused an infant. The group staged its protest inside CYFD's Albuquerque office yesterday. CYFD workers say they can't tell us much, only that this is an open investigation and their hands are tied. Supporters of Eastern Child Development Center say again that the school did what it was supposed to do. The employee was fired after allegations surfaced. It's why parents can't understand why CYFD closed the daycare. A spokesperson says CYFD's duty is to keep the children safe and that the agency is helping parents find other child care options.
The CYFD office was open on Saturday to help parents find alternative childcare, but we were given a page-and-a-half list of other names and said, here, choose one, without any information about hours, availability, whether they transport to and from school.
Now, CYFD said it is still reviewing multiple videos of different incidents involving this same employee. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. A representative of the center said they fully cooperated with CYFD and followed all regulations. The employee has not been charged. The baby is okay this morning. CYFD does not have an exact timeline on when the investigation could be complete.
Developing this morning, the committee looking into ousting a top state official in light of theft and fraud accusations will not meet again until late October now. The committee is investigating claims against Secretary of State Diana Duran. They met for the first time yesterday. She's facing more than 60 criminal charges, accused of taking campaign donations, spending it at casinos, and then covering it up. The committee, made up of 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats, is looking into whether she should be impeached.
It is an extraordinary duty to be exercised only when demanded by extraordinary circumstances.
If Duran is convicted of a felony, she'll automatically lose her job. That could be very far off. She doesn't even have a trial date set yet.
We turn out to news happening today. We're taking a live look over Washington, D.C. right now, where Planned Parenthood will be in the hot seat, expected to testify before a House Oversight Committee this morning. The president of Planned Parenthood will be taking questions directly from lawmakers. This after the release of secretly recorded videos that shows employees talking about using tissues from aborted fetuses in medical research. The president is already defending the organization, saying the practice is just a small part of what it does. Yesterday, the Senate advanced a bill authorizing government spending, which includes funding for Planned Parenthood. Many conservatives were not happy.
It is essentially a blank check to Barack Obama. That's not very clean to me. That actually sounds like a very dirty funding bill.
So the House is expected to take up and pass a spending bill as early as today.
Also today, President Obama is expected to meet one-on-one with Cuban President Raul Castro at the UN General Assembly. Yesterday, the president held his first formal meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in 2 years, focusing on the crisis in Syria. Both leaders agreed to explore political solutions in the region, but remain at odds over the future of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Putin believes that Assad is doing well, working toward eliminating ISIS, while President Obama claims he's a tyrant who massacres innocent children.
We turn out to new news this morning. If the general election were held today, a new poll shows Hillary Clinton would beat out Donald Trump for the presidency. According to the Wall Street Journal survey, Clinton would beat Trump 49% to 39% in a head-to-head race, that is. Among the poll's other findings, Clinton would be neck and neck with other GOP contenders, including Ben Carson and Jeb Bush.
And later this morning, Jon Jones is expected to appear in court in New Mexico. Popular UFC fighter was arrested in April after police say he caused a crash that hurt a pregnant woman and then took off. Since the incident, the UFC stripped Jones of his light heavyweight title and suspended him indefinitely. At last check, the DA says it's still waiting for evidence before taking the hit-and-run case to a grand jury.
Moving on to news happening today, preparations for a possible jury trial against 2 utility companies will continue. In 2011, the Los Conchas fire started when an aspen tree fell onto power lines in the Jemez Mountains. Dozens of homes were destroyed. Plaintiffs say the utility companies should have removed that tree. Jury selection began yesterday in the town of Bernalillo. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks. This morning, a police officer turned arsonist is starting his 4.5-year prison sentence for setting an old hotel and a home in Tucumcari on fire last summer. Dustin Lopez admits he set the Payless Inn ablaze, then watched as firefighters scrambled to put it out. Lopez resigned a day after state police searched his home. Lopez did not work alone, though. Robert Sandoval admitted to helping. He was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
The Santa Fe Plaza will need repairs after police say a former police officer drove drunk and slammed into pillars. Police say early Saturday morning, officers tried to pull over a pickup truck that didn't have its lights on. They say the driver sped away, running stop signs, then drove up onto the sidewalk, taking out 6 pillars on this historic building a block from the plaza. Police arrested the driver, former Santa Fe police officer Jesus Bencoma Zubiate.
This morning, a child abuse case is headed to district court after the accused waived his right to a preliminary hearing. Investigators say Jared McMeans took Torrance County Sheriff's deputies on a wild chase earlier this month with his 4-year-old daughter in the truck. He allegedly sped away from deputies, reaching speeds of 90 miles per hour, all while the girl bounced around inside. McMeans is charged with child abuse, fleeing and operating a stolen vehicle. Investigators believe he used the girl to pull off burglaries. He had warrants out for his arrest from 4 states.
A group of neighbors came to the rescue of a pregnant stray dog after that dog was found buried alive in a hole under a walkway. Workers in a Russian city had repaired the collapsed sidewalk, either not knowing or not caring that the dog was using the hole as a den. Neighbors then heard the dog, now known as Belka, barking for 2 days. After complaining to the city with nothing being done, they decided to dig Belka up themselves. They did save her, but she ended up losing her puppies. Donations are paying for Belka's medical care and food. She's going to be adopted out to a home very soon.
Poor little girl.
Sharp thinking, though, to know that that wasn't just maybe coming from inside the home, but literally under the sidewalk.
Right.
So,
and it's a good thing that they're just like, if the city's not doing anything, we're taking action.
That's a good thing they did. Hopefully she'll turn out well.
Yeah.